Welcome back to the course on cryptography and system security, right? And we were discussing about the problem, right? So Alia has raised the questions, right? So here actually there are some mistakes in this given problem, but actually speaking, when we talk about 3 power 10 mod 11, so which equal to 1 only, because that is the proven theorem, right? Alpha power p minus 1 mod p, which always gives 1. So ignore this part, and if you want you can consider this as the 3 power 9, 3 power 9 mod 11, which is 4. I just crash verified it. So they miscalculated the values. Instead of 10 they have proved for 9, but always remember that. So 3 power p minus 1 mod 11 equal to 1. I hope this is clear. Ali, are you there?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. So with this, we are coming to the end of the first chapter, right? And if you have any queries regarding the chapter topics which I covered in the unit 1, so you can, we are ready to discuss. I'm ready to explain it again. This is the time for your open queries. I'll stop sharing this. Uzaifa, what is CC cipher encryption technique? I just wanted to understand. So I just wanted to know how you understood the topics. Right? It's just a simple question so that I'll get clarified. What is CC cipher encryption technique, Uzaifa? Uzaifa, are you there? Uzaifa Ariwala.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, in that we have plain text which is converted to cipher text in encryption, and later on in the receiver side we decrypt it.
Okay, so one thing you specifically need to mention that each and every character present in the plain text that has to be replaced by its consecutive third letter, right?
Yes, sir.
In case of
Yes,
encryption,
sir.
in case of decryption, it's a previous third letter has to be
Minus.
replaced, right?
Minus.
Yes, yes. So the formula
Okay,
is
sir.
equal to ciphertext equal to plaintext plus 3 for encryption,
Plus 3.
and for decryption, ciphertext
Minus
equal
3.
to plaintext minus 3, right? Uh,
Okay, sir.
Reshma, how will do the encryption in Playfer cipher if the cipher letters present in the same row? Reshma, come. Don't worry, we will not eat you, we will not do anything, we will not give any punishment even if you are giving the wrong answers. This is just to understand whether you are clear with the concepts. Reshma, if anyone knows the answers, you can unmute and you can convey the answers.
Sir, in row wise, the next letter will be considered.
Yes,
If
the next letter, right? I mean the right letter, whatever the letter which present the right side. So that will be considered, right? In case of decryption,
yes,
suppose if the plain text letters present in the same column, again the next letter which is present in the top,
the down letter will be.
yes, that is going to be considered, right? And one more thing you need to remember is that I and J, which are to be placed in the same box, right? The
Yes.
intersection of rows and column, that will be considered as a ciphertext. So this Playfair cipher is one type of polyalphabetic cipher where more than one characters are encrypted at a time, right? So what is that one time padding? Sheikh Kaif. Sheikh Kaif. Rakib, what is that one-time padding? Someone has joined as a student. Kindly rename yourself. Anyone else? What is one-time padding?
Sir, in
So,
one-time padding, plain text and the key will be uh, added.
Yes, the
Like,
mapped numbers, right? Suppose if
yeah, the number. Sir.
A is assigned for 0 till Z is assigned for 25, both the plain text as well as ciphertext numbers which are going to be added, and finally that has to be applied to the mod 26 operations. What are the number which you are getting, the corresponding character will be considered as a ciphertext. When it comes for the decryption, ciphertext value plus the key value which will be added, I mean in terms of the mapped number will be added, so that will use the plain text number.
and the key is random.
Yes, the one thing you need to remember is that, so when we talk about the selection of the key in case of padding, you can select any keys. But when we talk about the polyalphabetic as well as the Playfair cipher, the key is going to be no, in the Playfair cipher, in the polyalphabetic cipher, the key has to be repeated. Suppose if I'm selecting deceptive, deceptive should be repeated, right, where it matches the length of the plain text as well as key, right? The intersection of both the ciphertext, I mean the plain text as well as the key, so that will produce a ciphertext in case of polyalphabetic cipher, right? So how you can find it? So with the help of the table, where you have in the row you have A to Z, and then in the key you have 26 A to Z. So 26 into 26 combination of cipher letters you will present in a table, intersection of plain text and then key. So through that you will identify a ciphertext. Again, polyalphabetic cipher, where we can do, yes, Vignesh cipher. Also, we can call it as polyalphabetic cipher, right? Yes, all those things, all those characters, all those operations, wherever you are using the numbers, instead number mapping instead of character mapping, if you are using the number mapping, right? So that will comes as a one-time padding process. Vignesh cipher is the polyalphabetic cipher. One-time padding, which is completely based on the numerical values. When we talk about the polyalphabetic cipher, you will not use any numbers. Directly the intersection of the plain text and then key, that will be considered as a ciphertext. Okay. So I hope this is quite clear with you all. Right. With this, we are coming to the end of the chapter 1. We'll move to the chapter 2. Under that, we will discuss about the concept which are related to the block cipher encryption technique as well as the public key encryption technique. I hope the shared presentation screen is visible for you. So under this module, we will be covering the topic, the data encryption standard, which is DES algorithm. Then we'll discuss about the block cipher principles and then block cipher modes of operation. Also, we'll cover the topic which are related to the advanced encryption standards as well as triple DES and then RCP algorithm. So these are the tentative topics which we are going to discuss under this module, right? And so these are the quick recap of what is encryption. Right, encryption is the process through which we'll convert our the plain text, the actual information into the ciphertext, which may use a key or which may not use a key. It depends upon the technique which we use, whether it's a substitution or transposition. Right, I can skip this part, right, again, because already I've explained more about what is this encryption process, right? So one thing, when it comes for the encryption, there are different, as I mentioned with the previous session also, right? Depends on the key. Always the cryptographic technique, which will vary. I'll just open board. Try to explain a bit further. Give me a second. I hope you can see the open board screen now. The depends upon the key which uses, as I mentioned, the cryptographic techniques. Depends on the key which we uses. There are two categories. The first one is single key or symmetric. Then session. When we talk about the other type, which is symmetric key encryption technique or the public key encryption technique. Right. So far we are discussing about the topic which are related to the single key encryption technique, right? Where this technique will use same key for both the encryption and decryption. So now this we are going to discuss in the later part, right? Asymmetric key or the public key cryptography, where you have the two keys. One will be used for encryption, the other one will be used for decryption. Again, this is the cryptography technique classification based on the key. And the second one is that depends on how it process. Based on that substitution as well as transposition technique. So this also we discussed elaborately during our first unit explanations. Next, I'm going to explain depends upon how the plain text are processing, the based on the size of the plain text. Stream cipher and then block cipher. Right, when we talk about the stream cipher, right, so this technique will take a single character or single bit is encrypted at a time. I hope this is clear. When we talk about stream cipher encryption technique, so this technique, right, which will take one bit or one character at a time as an input, and that will do the encryption. You will get as a single cipher text as one bit or one character. When you talk about a block cipher encryption technique, rather than taking a single bit, here the block of data, the block size might be 8 bit of data or 16 bit or 64 bit or 128 bit or 256 bit, more than one bits, right, which will be considered for encryption at a time. This is called a block cipher data. The stream cipher can be quite useful when you are transferring a small amount of data. So maybe a line, right? Suppose if you wanted to transfer, if you wanted to convert the entire paragraph of information or entire page of information to be encrypted and transmitted, in that cases, stream cipher will not be more efficient because it requires a lot of timing. Instead of that, we can proceed with the block cipher encryption technique where the entire input, entire plain text, which will be divided into different blocks or different small size of plain text, right? Where the block size, say for example, if I'm taking a 64-bit plain text, right? If there are no 1024 bits or 1024 character in the given plain text. Now this entire plain text, which are going to be divided into small parts, where each part will be called as a segment or block. So this will be 64. Again, the next will be 64-bit. Again 64-bit, 64, 64, 64. By the way, we'll divide the complete 1024-bit plain text into the small number blocks. Where so the first block will be considered for encryption. The 64-bit block will be given as the input. I hope this is clear. When we are applying for the encryption function, right? So if this is the encryption process, now this encryption process will take a 64-bit as input, and it will do some encryption function along with the keys, right? Let's assume that key is also 64-bit. Now 64-bit key, sorry, the 64-bit plain text and the 64-bit key are going to be applied into the encryption function, and so that will produce a 64-bit ciphertext. I hope this is clear. So when we talk about CC cipher encryption technique, where we took a single character which was encrypted using by its third letter, and it produced a single ciphertext. Instead, here the block cipher encryption technique, right, which will take a block of data, right, or block of bits which might be ranged, right, from 8 to 120. It depends upon the algorithm. Different algorithm which uses a different block size. When we talk about DES algorithm, which takes 64-bit. When we talk about SHA, sometimes it takes a 512-bit. Sometimes depends upon the algorithm. AES algorithm, which takes 128-bit. Right, depends upon the algorithm. Right, so here the 64-bit block which will be taken as the input, that produces 64-bit output. So now very similarly the second block. So here I took the first, which will be applied to the encryption with the 64-bit key, which produces 64-bit output. Very similarly, now I'll move to the second block. Now the second 64-bit block I'll take here, 64-bit plain text, encryption function with the 64-bit key, and so that will produce a 64-bit ciphertext. By the way, so this will reduce the encryption time. So where we are going to take large amount of input, right, and then it is going to be converted into the ciphertext. I hope the logic behind the block cipher technique is clear for you. Any further clarification required from my end? What is meant by this block cipher encryption technique? So if you are clear about this, what is block cipher encryption technique, then we are free to move for the further discussion with the slides. I hope now you can see the PPT presentation screen which I shared you. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about this symmetric encryption, where the single key which will be used for encryption when we talk about asymmetric key encryption. So where there will be two keys, which will be one will be used for encryption and then the other one will be used for decryption. Again, so I explained about this, all this, what is this transposition technique as well as substitution technique. Again, I don't want to repeat it. Right, when we talk about data encryption technique, so directly we'll move into the actual topic, which is data encryption technique, right? So when you talk about this data encryption standard, right, which is based on that blocks, basically it is a block cipher encryption technique. So this algorithm which was proposed by the IBM organization, right, which is a symmetric crypto system, right? So what is symmetric crypto system? The key, the same key which will be used for encryption as well as decryption, right? So this was the first successful block cipher encryption technique, which was used to transfer the more confidential as well as the classified data as well as sensitive informations, right? So now this technique was, I could say that this technique was outdated. Rather, we are using for secure socket layer encryption technique as well as SSA encryption technique for electronic fund transfers, right? Now, when you talk about this DES algorithm, the logic behind the DES encryption technique, right? So this algorithm accepts plain text P and performs an initial permutations. When we talk about the permutation, so here this is again a kind of transposition technique. Now, I'd say that this data encryption standard will use both the substitution as well as permutation. So, which is SP. S for substitution and P for permutation. Permutation means again the position of the plain text which are going to be rearranged in the specific or in the given order. And after this initial permutation, right, whatever the output which produces, right, the entire plain text information which is going to be a block, right, the plain text which are going to be divided into two halves, right, which is left half as well as right half of 32 bits, right? And after that, so we are going to perform certain operations with the left half of the data, that is a 16 round function, right? Later I'll explain with the clear diagram also. For time being we can listen, right? The idea behind this, the data encryption standard, is that whatever the input which accepts, I was explaining about, is the 64-bit data which are going to be applied to the initial permutation, right? So initial permutation, the position of the plain text which are going to be rearranged. After that, the entire 64-bit which are going to be divided into two half, the left 32 and then the right 32. Then after that, we are going to do a sequence of operation with the left half of the data, which is a 16 rounds or 16 operation we are going to perform, 16 steps. At the end, whatever the output we are going to get, that are going to be swapped. Left half will be swapped to the right half, and then right half of the data which will be swapped as a left half. And then the left half data again, so this will be processed for again 16 rounds. So by the way, so this process will be repeated. At the end, again, we'll be doing similar kind of operations, initial permutation as well as SPOC techniques. Finally, it will produce a 64-bit ciphertext. It might be confusing bit, but when I explain further slide, you will get more clarification on this, right? So otherwise, I can directly, I'll go with the diagram. So we'll get more clarification. Before that, how do I proceed? Better I'll explain this PSL cipher encryption technique. Now for time being, forgot about the data encryption standard, right? Before that, I'll explain this, the PSL cipher encryption technique. Now this is the base for the data encryption standard, right? So this algorithm which was introduced by the Shannons, right, which we uses substitution as well as permutation network, right? Now this algorithm right? Whatever the input plain text which it takes, right? So that is going to be divided into two half, left half of the data and then right half of the data. Is it clear now? So I'm going to take a plain text. Say for example, if I'm taking the plain text of 64, right? Now using the FSL cipher encryption technique, the 64-bit data which is going to be divided into two half, right? Which is, say for example, 2 into 32. So 132-bit will be a left half and the remaining 32 will be the right half. Right? Now what they are going to do is that, so they are going to use some functions, a function f which is a round function, I could say that. Now this 32-bit plain text of the right half, and that is going to be applied to the some certain encryption or encryption function with the function which is written here. So 32-bit and the key value is 32, so which will produce a 32-bit here. Again this 32 and then this 32 which will be applied to the some operations, and then we will get a 32-bit output. I hope this is clear. How many of you understood the first part, the FSL cipher technique? Okay, how many of you are having little difficulty to understand this FSL cipher technique?
Sir,
Yes, Anushka.
sir, explain again, please.
Okay, no issues. I'll open the open board. I'll explain further. For that again, I need to show the screen. Now, can you all see the open board?
Yes.
Okay. So now the FSL cipher technique, which is the base for the DES standard, I'll try to explain how the FSL cipher algorithm works. Suppose let's assume that my plain text size is equal to 64-bit, right? So this is my input, which is 64-bit. Now I need to divide the 64-bit into two half. If I divide this into two half, I'll get left 32, then 32, 32. So this will be considered as the left, and this will be considered as the right half as well as left half. Are you clear till this point? My plain text size is 64, and I'm going to divide this into two half, left half 32-bit, right half 32-bit. Now I'm not going to do any operation with the left half, but I'm going to do some operation with the right 32. So let's assume this is the right 32-bit, and this is left 32-bit. Whatever the bit, the right half which I have, I'm going to do some encryption function here, right? So not to do the encryption, I need a key. Hope this yellow color is visible for you, otherwise I can change the color. This, the key is also 32. So now what is the input for this encryption function? Plain text 32-bit, and my key is 32. So 32 plus 32, what will be the output again? What will be the output if my plain text size equal to 32 and then key size equal to 32, which will produce again a 32-bit. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now this 32-bit will be applied to the some more operation which present in the left half of the data. So left half is 32-bit, and whatever the output which you are getting after this encryption function or round function, which is 32, here 32-bit, here 32-bit. This is left plain text. Now this is again another input. So here I'll get a 32-bit output. I hope this is clear.
Yes.
Now, so this is step 1 or round 1. Now, once if this is over, now the left of data, which is unprocessed data, which will come here again as an input. Now, after that, they will do the swap. Left of data will become as the right half of the data. So this is, let's assume this is R0 step, L0 step. Now here the left L0 will become as the right one after processing whatever the output you are getting. So that will become the right value, right half, and whatever the output, whatever the value which present in the right half, so that will become as the left value. Is it clear now? Now after that, the process are going to be repeated. So due to insufficient place, I'll take the another page. I could do is that I'll just minimize. Okay, now I'll elaborate a bit further. So now, whatever the data which we have in the right half, this right half of the data for the step 2, which came from the left of the first step 1, we swapped the output. Now this again, which will be applied to the encryption function. Now the size is 32. Again, here we'll have the key. Here we said, let's assume this is key 1. Now this is key 2. Right? So this is 32-bit, 32-bit, which will produce again 32-bit. Now in the left half we have 32-bit plain text, and we'll do some XOR or any encryption function, which is again, so this will produce 32. So here we have 32. This is step 2. After that, again, the values are going to be swapped. Left will become as the right 32. Now this will become as the left 32. Is it clear? Now further, again the same process which are going to be repeated. Now this is right half of the data, which will be applied to the any encryption function with respect to the key K3, which is 32-bit. Now the plain text is 32, so this will produce 32. So this is also a 32. So any encryption function which is based on this 32 value, which is going to be a 32. By the way, so this process will be repeated for as many times. Say for example, 16 rounds or 16 times. So whatever the output we are getting at the end of 16th round, left of the data and then right of the data. So here obviously we will have 32-bit. Here we'll have 32-bit. By combining this 32, which is equal to 64. So this will be a 64-bit ciphertext after 16 rounds. I hope this is clear. If any queries, you can write in the chat box or unmute and raise your queries.
Clear.
Now there are different strategies, right? They can use the same key for all the rounds. It depends upon. See, I mentioned the K1 and then K2 and then K3. So depends upon the algorithm which we choose. They can use the same key for all round functions. K1 for all 16 rounds, for example. Otherwise, they can generate a different keys for each round. So as I mentioned in the previous sessions, our encryption technique, our cryptography security, which will be based on the key size, are the key which we uses. If we use the different keys, and again the security will be more. But in order to generate a different keys, right? So again, so there is a technique which is called subkey generation. What is this subkey generation means? From a master key, there will be a master key. Say for example, if I am taking college is the key. So from this, using any random technique, right? Say for example, OCLLGEE. So this will be used as the key for the first round. After that, they will do some more changes in this again. So CLLOEEG. So from the master key, randomly they will generate a different keys. So this technique is called a subkey generations. It all completely depends on the algorithm. If they wanted to proceed with the different keys for different rounds, they can use any subkey generation technique where the different keys will be generated from the master key for each round. How we are saying this is a symmetric encryption? Whatever the key which we used for the round 1 in encryption, the same key which will be used for decryption for the round 2. By the way, it is called symmetric encryption technique. Are you getting my point? It does not mean that we are using different keys for different steps. When we are saying a symmetric encryption, say for example, for round 1, I am using K1 for encryption. But when we are doing the decryption for round 1, I supposed to use the same key K1 for decryption. So in that cases, so this is called a symmetric encryption. I can use another key for round 2. For R2, I can use for K2 for encryption. But the thing is that I need to use the same key, which is K2. For round function R2, I need to use K2 for decryption. This is symmetric encryption. I hope this is clear. This is the concept behind the Fiesta cipher encryption technique. If you are clear with this, we'll move further. Any difficulties? So with this, we are coming to the end of today's sessions. And if you have any queries, you can write in the chat box.